Hello beach bums, welcome back to the channel. I posted a video the other day and I've gotten a lot of feedback on this particular video. It has triggered a lot of people and I figured I would address it because I feel like this is an area I'm just surprised. I've been in social media long enough that it doesn't really matter what opinion I throw out. There's going to be opposing views. I can say the sky is blue and I'm going to get a lot of negativity. It's just how it is. When you get in front of a lot of people, you're going to get differing opinions on anything that you give an opinion about. But this particular one was surprising to me at the large majority of people leaning to a particular side. And I feel like maybe this is an opportunity for education, because I feel like maybe a lot of these people don't actually fish in heavily crowded areas. And I do have a lot of experience in this arena. Now, I understand different areas maybe have different rules or whatever. I've fished a lot of places, and this is how it is anywhere that you're fishing around a lot of people. It is a definite get in where you fit in scenario. That applies on the jetties, piers, even on beaches. I've fished on beaches in the Carolinas, on the Outer Banks, where you're fishing around a lot of people around a point. If you're fishing a public area where there's a lot of people, it is fill in where you can. And that's how it is on piers. There is nobody's space where you own a certain section of the pier or certain section of the jetties. Like nobody owns it. So it's understood that people will fill in where they can. If you have space, utilize what space you have. Like, that's common courtesy in any scenario. I'm going to play the clip and then we'll talk about it. And I want to point out a couple of things here, and then we'll break it down.
There's one right there. Come on, you did it fit or not?
Hey guys, come on.
Well, you're good. You're good. You're
No,
good.
I ain't good. Somebody's got me.
Why is it not in front of you?
Get the out of here.
Going back out.
I don't know where they went.
Okay, so what was happening is we had a school of jacks that came in. They're moving up and down the pier. There's a group of us that are following these fish, throwing at them, of course, trying to get these fish to eat. They wouldn't eat this day. As soon as we're throwing at them and they move, we're moving on. And once these fish left, we went and filled in where we were. In this particular scenario, we're walking down the pier. There's a group of guys. They fill in. They're filling in, giving everybody space. I'm the last one in this line, and there's probably a good 10 to 15 feet that you can see. I've got a screenshot here. There's probably a solid 10 to 15 feet between me and the last guy that just walked up and this guy that's set rig fishing here, of space. This is in any area of anywhere that I've ever fished, this is plenty of adequate space to fill in a public area. I don't understand, like, the amount of people that have gotten triggered by saying getting on top of this guy. I fill in right here in between these two people. There's a guy right next to me where I'm standing at this moment, and then there's all this open rail, and then this guy that's set up fishing. Couple of things about the guy that's set up fishing. So as I'm walking up, I can see he's got two rods out. On this particular pier that I'm fishing, it is a rule that you can only fish with one rod at a time. You're not allowed to have two lines in the water. That may not be the rules everywhere, but a lot of piers are that way. You're only supposed to have one rod in the water at a time. He's got two, so he's already taking up a lot of space himself with his two rods. Second thing that I noticed as I'm walking up, because courtesy and getting in where you fit in, this is the sentiment anytime you're fishing around a lot of people. Again, I don't know where a lot of these people fish. I don't, like, if you're fishing around people, this is how it is. I don't understand this, but you get in where you fit in. But you obviously are showing courtesy to people. You're not going to throw over their lines. You're not going to interrupt their fishing. Like, that's just understood. And so as I'm walking up, this is where things get confusing, I think, for people watching this video. I look for his line, and I explained this in the main video that I posted. I guess people didn't watch this part, but I'm looking for his line, and his line's like going down the pier, like down the side of the pier, not straight out in front of him. This is a problem. Anytime you're set rig fishing on a pier, the expectation is to put that line in front of you because you're jeopardizing that much more space if you cast to the side, if you're letting your line drift or whatever. There was no current this day. It was a very calm day. He had a line casted down the pier, which is jeopardizing a copious amount of space. But I don't care. Like, he's breaking rules. He's not fishing properly. I'm not even going to say anything. I don't care. I can still work around you. And that's what I do. So I walk up, I'm looking where his line is, and I cast in a direction completely away from his lines. I'm not casting over his lines. I'm not tangling him up. I'm not doing anything to mess this guy up. But he gets mad at me, you know, because I'm fishing beside him. One of the other guys did tangle his lines. That's on him. That's on them. I didn't realize that until a minute later that one of these other guys had tangled up his line, but that was partially because of where he had his bait in the water going down the side of the pier. You know, that's really on the guy that was set rig fishing, because had he had his line straight out in front of him and all these other guys where they were casting his fish, he would have been fine because nobody would have crossed his line had his line just been straight out in front of him. Anyway, so I cast. He's like, come on guys, you know, and that's why I'm like, you're good, because I don't, at the time I don't realize he's crossed, and you know, I don't know what's going on really, and I just know that I just casted completely away from his lines, and of course he continues to bark and grumble, and anyway, that's it. Like that's the extent of it. One of the guys was crossed. It took 0.2 seconds to take their line off, and he was good. Fish were gone. We walked away. That was it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. But people have lost their minds. I'm gonna read you some comments now on this, and these are just a few. And I mean, there's some really nasty ones. You were being a D-bag, 100%. All right, a lot of space there. 10 to 15 feet on any public fishing pier where there's people. That is adequate space. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what world you're living in if you think that 10 to 15 feet and just filling in that gap and casting and being aware of where his lines are and casting away from his lines. I don't know where that warrants that, but you know, you are entitled to your opinions. Regardless where you are fishing, it's only courteous not to evade. I think you meant to say invade someone's else's space. There's some grammatical errors here. It's a respect for the individual and fellow fishermen. This got 95 thumbs ups. Number one, that's not his space. I guess you're saying that somebody is entitled to 10 to 15 feet of space on either side of them on a public fishing area. I just don't understand that. I don't know where anybody would come up with that in a situation where it's a get in where you fit in. There were other people. If there was nobody else on the rail, which there already were, like I said, everybody else had already filled in. Of course, I wouldn't have I would have given them 30 feet. You know, I would have given them as much space as I could. But this is just pure fishing, and I'm not going to mess with you. I'm not going to bother your fishing. Like I said, I was looking where his lines were. I wasn't casting anywhere where his lines were. He was fine. And I was just fitting in that 10 to 15 feet of space, which again is adequate. If someone is fishing a spot, it's claimed. You don't fish right next to them just because a school is passing through. You try that blank with me and there will 100% be a problem. Okay, so we're making threats now that if I fish anywhere close to you, there's going to be a problem on a pier. I would recommend you don't fish any piers. That would be my recommendation to you. You're going to get in a lot of fights and probably end up in jail if you were that agitated with someone fishing that close to you. You need to find yourself a bit of fishing etiquette, buddy. Someone would have thrown you in if you did that in Australia. I've never fished Australia. I don't know. And again, this one got 4 hearts and thumbs ups here. I didn't realize that people believe that much space is theirs and warrants literally throwing them over the side of a pier. I don't know how you guys aren't in prison already. It's only a gray area for you because you were there second. Don't cast over someone's line. I didn't. I explained that in the video. Simple. BS your way out of it all you want, but if you are running around a pier acting like this, you are wrong. While I was fishing, I was casting at fish and making sure that I wasn't casting over anyone's line and trying to make sure that there was plenty of space. I don't know what to tell you, Rick. Sorry, man. Sorry I offended you on that one. I just love how not respectful you were about it. Pier fishing or not, if someone did me that way and then smarted off when I said something, it would have not ended well. No excuse me or my bad or sorry or anything, just basic common courtesy. I didn't feel it was necessary for me to say excuse me. I mean, I didn't cross the dude's line. I'm under the impression that 10 to 15 feet of space to fill in is plenty. Again, I don't know where these people fish. Let me know where these areas are, these public fishing piers that you fish, where you can stake off that much space. It sounds amazing if you can expect that and not and be in the right to cause physical harm to someone if they get within that space, and be justified in that. That, I guess that's cool, man. I don't know. It's mind blowing. There was a lot of people that really got triggered by this. That GoPro is turning his brain off. D-bag move to stand right next to someone fishing on a pier. Bro, you were wrong for this. Give the man some space. How much? I don't know. That's the question here. There's a thing called etiquette. The old man was right. Okay. They just keep coming in. Man, you are a blank. Give the dude his space. No etiquette. Okay. And here's a real good one. F off dude's fishing spot, you prick. You remind me of Pittsburgh people that come here for steelhead. You and your gear will go in quickly. I don't know what happens in Pittsburgh. I don't know how this many people got triggered so easily by filling in on a pier with as much space as you can see in this screenshot. I would love to know. Comment some locations below. Many of you probably watching this video still disagree and think that I was fishing too close to this guy and was rude about it. I was not trying to be rude. I was just trying to fish and stay out of people's way. But let me know some locations that you fish if I am able to come and have the expectation that I can mark off that much of a section of pier of public fishing area, and it is a understood thing that nobody else can come and fish within that area. I would love to know. Sounds a lot of fun and sounds like a utopian world. Just a heads up, if you are unaware, if you fish in any public areas where there are a lot of people, it is in general, get in where you fit in. Just be courteous. That was my point. Again, I'm going to get berated because evidently they think I wasn't being courteous. But my point is, look out, understand the situation, look out for people's lines. Don't cast over people. Don't cross their lines if you can avoid it. But listen, that stuff happens too. I can't tell you how many times my lines have been crossed. I don't care. It takes 0.2 seconds to get a hook off or untangle a line, or worst case scenario, you can't untangle it. You just cut your lure off, you pull your line through, and you retie. It takes an added 30 seconds. It's not life or death. It blows my mind how this stuff takes place. I'm going to do everything I can to not inconvenience anyone. But even when I'm inconvenienced, I don't care. It's not a big deal. I think a lot of people think that because I am doing this for my job that I felt entitled, and like that, it's not the case at all. I really have, it was mind-blowing, which is why I'm even making this video. It's just, I don't even know what to say. It just blows my mind how many people have this train of thought that wasn't enough space and that I was encroaching on this guy. Definitely not. Just be courteous to people. Don't throw anybody off piers. Don't get in fights just because somebody comes and fishes relatively close to you on a public fishing pier. That's a good recipe to go to jail, you know, or have charges filed against you. It is not warranted in most areas. But this is the internet, and people get brave behind keyboards and say a lot of unintelligent stuff. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. And as always, you stay bummy.